Hey everybody, it's Jill Haney. Some of you know me from stonework, ancientstoneworks.com, and a lot of you know me from Hammered, the podcast, Hammered, a story of an insatiable spirit. And some of you just know me to know me. So I wanted to welcome you to my YouTube channel and ask you to please go to the YouTube subscribe button on this channel. It's real important because I don't know that much about this world, but I do know that the more subscribers that I get on YouTube, the more I can kind of move forward with the life of Hammered, whatever that's turning into. So, actually, this video is about. I'm going to tell you what's been happening. I just returned from Greece. I was there for 3.5 weeks and I recorded and finished chapter 11 of the audio podcast. And it has brought the podcast to present day. So this is kind of interesting because it's like doing a podcast within a podcast, if that makes sense. And now it's come to the present moment and it's going to take another life. And what that's going to turn into is a porch cast. And in the last episode, I explained a little bit about how all this came about. And while in Greece, I was actually attending a writing retreat, and I wanted to throw out the name Right Away Europe. That's the group that I went with and attended, and I highly recommend. We had a great time. I learned a lot. I am a writer, and so. But what this porch cast is, and what's going to happen, okay, is that Hammered, the original 11 chapters, I don't know how many episodes, 80, 84, 80, 90, I don't know. But that is going to come to a close. And now I'm going to switch it over and I'm going to interview people on my front porch. And what I'm looking for people that make a difference in the world, who are showing up for themselves and for others. It's just really important for me to begin to do this work. When I was in Greece, I got a lot of clarity around what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing and what my mission in the next phase of my life is. I've been in physical labor for almost 40 years. I've used my body to make a living for almost 40 years. And my body is still intact. I'm still going strong. I'm in better shape than I've ever been. But it's time for me to use my brain and to use my voice. And I got really clear on this trip that that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And so that's why I'm doing this little video to give you like a heads up as to where the podcast is headed. There's a lot of other things sort of in the works with it that I won't really go into on this, but I would really appreciate your support in hitting that YouTube subscribe button. When I used to hear that, it would get on my nerves because I thought, oh, they just want money. But you know what? They do, and so do I, because it's like YouTube will actually start to advertise or do whatever to kind of help out financially. And if you have gotten value from my podcast, then I ask you to please subscribe to the channel. And that's basically what I'm asking. Because I've got probably about $50,000 involved with Hammer that, I've never made 1 cent from. And if I'm going to transition out of stonework into this other world, then I have to make a living somehow. And, I'm just putting it out there and being honest. I'm not going to be all flowery and say a bunch of bullshit. But that's basically what I need. And I am asking for that because I feel like I have really stuck my neck out in this world to tell these stories, to tell my story. And I feel like I've gotten a great response. if nobody had contacted me and nobody was listening to this, I would have moved on a long time ago. But the reason that this has kept me going was the response from people that this has actually helped. And that is my quest, is to help other people. That's what we're here for, is to serve. And I'm not trying to be an influencer. I'm not trying to be any of those things. I've never been a real great self promoter. Years ago when I first got on Facebook, Vivian, my love mate at the time, she talked about how, there was a book, I think it was like How to Toot Your Own Horn Without Blowing It. And I remember her saying, you got to promote yourself. And so I kind of have done that through Facebook, a little bit of Instagram, but mainly, posting pictures of my work, like befores and afters, and it's helped my stone business. I've gotten work off of there, and also it's just kind of been great meeting a lot of people through Facebook and Instagram, and you know, I'll continue to do those things, but I do need some help sharing this information. While in Greece, I met some really fabulous people. I met some really, really engaging, smart people that are making a difference in the world. And I've actually got one interview under my belt, who will be at my very first porch cast, and it's Sarah Kelly. She lives in Vancouver, British Columbia, and she's a screenplay writer and an actor, and she agreed to do my first interview with me on her porch in Santorini. So that's going to be good, and I can't wait for you to hear that. And listen, this thing is going to be rough. It's got to stay in alignment with the podcast. It can't be all super polished, because that's not who I am. And the podcast was basically recorded in my bed with a Shih Tzu sitting on the bed, or sleeping on the bed. And so with this chapter 11, it was recorded in my bed in Greece. And it's just pretty funny to me how all of this has transformed. And I don't know where it's going. I have no idea where it's going, but I do know that it's going in a good direction. And I feel like I've grown a lot, and I have a better understanding of that direction, and I also have a better understanding of my purpose. And it's been 3 years since I recorded this, and I've gone through, some stuff with this, because this was, I didn't expect one person to listen to Hammered. I really didn't. And then when I started getting the response, and it became sort of scary, because people kind of come out of the woodwork. They want money. People want a part of me or whatever, and that's kind of weird. And but I have good boundaries, and I've wised up over the years, so I know you're glad to hear that. But anyway, I just wanted to put this video, kind of an introduction video to the Hammered Porch Cast, that my nephew Harrison is building a set, and I think it'll be pretty cool. And basically, it's like he's doing some stuff to create sort of a sound barrier, so we don't get too much traffic noise or anything like that, because I do live, kind of downtown Asheville. So, with all that being said, thank you for supporting me and listening to my podcast, and all the feedback I've gotten and all the messages I've gotten. It really touches me when you reach out and tell me your story, because we all have one. You don't get out of this unscathed. If you have the perfect Pollyanna life, well, great, I'm happy for you. But there's a lot of people that have gone through a lot of hardships in their life and overcome those. And my story is not that. I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people that had it way worse than I ever had it. And, but the thing about my story that I find interesting is that I've never seen a fruition of a life of tragedy, craziness, all of that, but how to learn how to live life on life's terms and become a productive citizen in the world. over a 40-year span. And the stick to itness, I have stuck to it in my life. I stuck with stonework for a long, 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 long time. And that has been my teacher. You know, stones are the eyes of the world. And I've learned so many things from doing this type of work about resilience and perseverance and how to, improvise and how to push through and patience and just inner guidance, and cultivating my inner world has really been the really my biggest success. If I had to tell you what my biggest success in my life is, it's that I have cultivated an inner world that I trust. And for me, that's trusting my guidance system and knowing when to get out, knowing when to say no, and knowing when to say yes. And saying yes to Anita Kava back 4 or 5 years ago. Anita was the lady that asked me to do a story at her house, and I was kind of like, wow, you know, okay. And but I trusted her, and I liked her, and I said yes to her, and I'm so glad I did. And Anita, I'm so glad you asked. And so I'm just following the breadcrumbs, like Esther Hicks talks about. Just follow the breadcrumbs, and that's what I'm doing. So with that, I'm gonna stop this video. And when you do watch all the porch casts, try not to judge all the rawness of it, or the whatever it's going to be, because I don't know. I'm not technical. I have a little baby microphone, and I have a wireless mic system that I just now, it messed up. I don't even know how to use it. I have to call Alex. But anyway, um, everything is exactly how it's supposed to be in this universe. And I thank you, and I will see you soon on my porch. Have a great day. And Minnie says hello. She's over there scratching the couch, making a nest. Okay, bye.